So social media is changing the landscape of business. It's continually growing and evolving, and it's really important that businesses understand how to manage social media effectively, because basically if you can't, you're going to miss out. So if we have a look at some of the stats, so you've got 90% of Kiwis aged 15 years and over are on social media. 81% use YouTube, 79% on Facebook, and 46% on Instagram. So there are key platforms in New Zealand. This is a visual for you to get the idea of how incredible social media is. So this is one message for social media, one message before social media. So you'll tell a few friends. One message after. Put it across your channels, and then off it goes. Hopefully it goes viral. So basically it's like word of mouth on steroids. So I've got some bad news for you. I like to term it sweat marketing. So it's not easy, it's not a piece of cake, it's not free, it takes hard work and planning. So unless you can, well, even if you outsource the work, you still actually have to have a handle and understanding of what's going on. So you really have to put some effort in. Right, what can you use it for? So clearly social media is a communication tool, and it allows you to directly engage and interact with your customers. Ideally, what you want to try and do is create a likeable personality for your brand. So we don't do business with businesses, people do business with people. And they think of your brand as a person when they interact with it. So you've got to think about that. So try to be genuine and authentic, post regularly, and one of the key things too is respond to your customers online, because you'll find that you're getting more and more questions, maybe some feedback, maybe some complaints. It's really important that you respond to that. There was a report that I read, some top brands, of the top brands in the States, 32% of them have created a dedicated Twitter handle just for customer service. Admittedly, Twitter is bigger in the States than it is here, but that shows you how it's going. Clearly you can reward your loyal customers, you can offer them discounts, offers on slow days. It's there for their feedback, and obviously that channel for responding. Facebook is clearly the biggest. So this is the whole world, how many monthly active users there are. So you've got Facebook, YouTube, you know what WhatsApp is? So WhatsApp is a communication tool. You can call people and you can text people, but it uses your internet, so you're not paying for it. Kind of like Facebook Messenger. WeChat is the Chinese one, because obviously they've blocked Facebook and YouTube as well, I think. So they've got their own social media platforms. Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, and Pinterest is 250 million. So again, this is giving you a feel for how much time users are on there. So 40 minutes for YouTube, pretty close behind Facebook. Snapchat, 25 minutes. So if anybody's got millennials or Generation Zers that are their target markets, you might want to start looking at Snapchat. Instagram and Twitter, 1 minute per day. Some of the outcomes that you might associate with social media would be brand awareness. That's going to be your core goal or outcome that you're going to get out of social media. It's not a magic tool for instantly generating sales. It's about that brand awareness, developing the customer loyalty, and hopefully you can get some lead generation out of it. So whether that's driving it to your website and they're filling out a form, or filling out a form if they're on Facebook, somehow getting a lead out of them, or getting them to phone you. So there are some sales and then customer service. The questions that you're all wanting to ask, or all wanting to get the answers to, finding the fundamentals. So, should your business be on social media? What networks should you choose? How do you create a great profile? And what kind of time commitment's involved? Are your target markets on social media? If the answer is yes, then you should be on social media. Are your competitors on social media? If the answer is yes, then you need to be on social media. Do you have the resources to support all the platforms you want to be on? You may not have the resources for all of the platforms, but hopefully you've got the resources for at least one of the platforms. I have found with previous clients, they want to do it all, and then they start to get overwhelmed and struggle, and then they do nothing really well. So start with one. Facebook or LinkedIn is probably the obvious choice for a lot of the businesses here, and then keep it manageable. And then obviously, the other question that you've got to answer is, where are you getting traction from? What's working for you? Because if it's not working on Twitter, then there's no point being here. These are the leading social networks in New Zealand. So YouTube and Facebook are right up there. Who's got I never asked. Who's got a YouTube channel? Oh, you have. So what's your businesses?
Metro Realty.
Right, okay, that makes sense. And
Yep.
same, and the florist, and you've got it, great. So again, so if you're, no, not if, YouTube is one of the channels that you actually should be looking at in the future, or start planning for it, because of the video trends. So I'm going to talk about that. So the next thing is, how do you get a great profile? So there's basically 4 things with your profile across all of the sites. So you've got to choose the right images. We're in a visual revolution. So you've got to get the right images that catch your users' attention, and they match your brand image. And obviously that they're optimized as well for the right platform that they're on. And by that I mean the right size. And I've got a tool on your sheet to help you with that. You've got to have a compelling bio that's filled with keywords. So in Facebook, you've got a section now in Facebook. So they used to have a short description and a long description. They've now got the About section, which was the short description, and they've now got this. Has anybody filled in their story on Facebook? So go and have a look at your settings, go and have a look at your About section. You've got this new feature where you can say, what's your story? So I phrased it as why choose creative, and then I've listed off the amazing things that I do, what we do, and then I try to get it in like a bullet format, because that's the other problem I see with a lot of people who put their About section is it's just a big chunk of text that's really unappealing to read. We have no time and we basically don't read. So you've got to make it as digestible as possible. The other benefit with the story, which you can now see, is that you put an image up. And also now if you visit Creators' Facebook page, you'll see it on the right hand side. They bring up a little snippet of that. The other key thing with your profile is post regularly and great content that is of value to your end user, to your target market. It's not about you, it's not about your board, it's not about the director, it's about your target market, and that's where a lot of people get caught up. And the other thing is using all the tools that are available to you on those different platforms. So for example, Facebook, you can link to, not only to your website, a lot of people do that, but you can link to your other social media channels. So in here, we say, go and have a look. So I've linked to Instagram and Twitter. So you can, when you edit your profile, you can go in there and put other links in. And the idea is, you might not get a massive number of clicks, but you've still got that link there, and it's still going to generate traffic, hopefully to your website or other channels. It's just more ways for your target market to get a hold of you and communicate with you. Right, who's got a social media strategy? Who's got a plan for their social media? Oh, F45's got a plan. That's great. So basically, at the moment, there's some studies that have been done that said in order for you to get any kind of traction out of your social media, you should be spending about 6 hours a week on it. Now, the 6 hours a week doesn't mean just posting. It means planning and researching, analysing and reporting, and then the execution, so the actual implementation. If you, okay, let's just jump in, we'll try Facebook. If you dabble, you're not really going to get any success with it. You have to commit to it and dedicate resources to it. And part of that is a strategy. So often the root cause of failure in social media marketing is the lack of structured thinking about what your real purpose of being there is, and also the lack of measures with which to identify success or failure. Doing social media because everybody else is not a valid strategy. Neither is build it and they will come. Okay, so here are some key ingredients for your social media strategy. So I do want you to pay attention to this bit because it's really important that you try and formalise a little bit your structure. You may only be small, but it means that you're going to much more likely to have success if you've got some kind of formalised document. So one, obviously you want to research your competitors in your industry, see what they're doing so that you can improve on what they're up to, and also get ideas. And that's why I say don't just research your neck of the woods and the competitors here. Look overseas to similar countries, get ideas from them and other places that are not even in your industry. One little caveat. I'm assuming that everybody here has got a fantastic website that they're really proud of, that works well, and driving traffic and generating business, and you're measuring that. Because setting up your social media and developing that on different platforms, if you're using that to drive traffic, if you're using that to drive business, but your website's losing some of your traffic and falling through, then I would suggest that you focus on your website first, get that right, and then do your icing on the cake, then do your social media. Because your website is your mothership, you own it, you do not own any of these social media platforms, you're basically building your house on rented land. And we all know how much Facebook's changed, and now what was MySpace, Bebo, what are they again? Well, they're going to change, so you've got to be ready to move at the same time. But as I said, protect your mothership first. Right. Okay, so identify goals. Every business, you're all on social media for basically one reason. You want to get more business, but that means different things to different businesses. So you want to think about what is your purpose for being on there. Is it brand awareness? Is it because you want to make industry contacts, like LinkedIn? Is it because you want to engage with your customers, you want to develop that loyalty? Is it because you want to launch a new product? So you've got to determine what the point is of your social media, and that will help guide what you put out there, and then it will help guide in terms of what measures you need to be looking at to see if it's working. Obviously, you've got to know who your target market is. You can't simply be putting messages out there that are talking about bringing your kids into this great cafe because we've got these amazing toys in here, when students are seeing it, or older people are seeing it who don't have children. So you've got to be really aware of who you're sending your messages to. And if you don't get that right, basically you're going to hurt your page, particularly in Facebook, because of the algorithm, because of that mathematical equation that chomps out all your organic reach. You have to decide your online voice and image. So who are you? If I was to ask you, describe your brand to me as if it was a person, how would you describe your brand? And then that should help determine your voice. So whenever somebody's posting, if somebody's sick and somebody else takes over, that voice should remain consistent so that I as the user don't know that somebody else is doing it. Because to me it's all one. So it's got to be consistent. So really understand your brand. Ideally you're going to plan some kind of content calendar. Assign responsibility, because if you have somebody in charge of it and responsible, you're going to obviously have much more success. Allocate staff training, budget, and then obviously monitor and measure. So you're going to be looking at your Facebook Insights, Twitter analytics, Instagram's got analytics, and you should also be looking at your website analytics. So hopefully everybody's got some kind of website analytics that you're looking at. So with your audience, who they are, what the personality is, how they engage, it's more than just what sex are they or how old are they, it's more about their buying behaviours. So when I went to a presentation and Trade Me were there, basically Trade Me classify them as, they've got about 7 different personas. One of them will be Susie the shopper. Not that it's necessarily a female, but they describe Susie as a shopper. But there could be a 60-year-old male in that group too, but it's their buying behaviour that they're describing it as. The other key thing that you need to understand is what makes your business different. What makes your business special that your customers should come to you and not go to the others? So I can see we've got some gym people in here, and that's really hard. How do you distinguish your gym and your equipment from others? A lot of the time it might come down to staff, it might come down to your location, it might come down to ease of parking. So there's a whole range of things in there, but you have to be able to identify your unique selling proposition so that you can communicate that to your customers. Because if you don't understand it, how do you expect them to understand it and know why they should buy from you? So all your content on social media should reflect that. This is an example of North Face. So they produce winter clothing, and this is from their Instagram page. Now, what do we notice about their Instagram page? Does it say anywhere there, we've got super duper stitching that was going to keep you warm in winter? Do they talk about the quality of their products? Do they say buy me, buy me? No. So what they do instead is they put imagery up of people in their gear doing amazing things. So that's the idea. Think about your brand in terms of how your end customer wants to feel. Just trying to reinforce, don't necessarily put the youngest team member in charge of your social media because they don't necessarily understand your business that well and they may not communicate it the way that it should be communicated. Okay, some ideas for your content calendar. So the idea is, obviously, the further that you can plan in advance, the better off you're going to be. It's less stressful, you're going to have better success because you've thought about what you need to do. It's always good to be reactive as well, like timely. That's part of social media. But you should have some kind of base so that you're planning this content and getting it up there. So start with your overview. What's your broader marketing initiatives that you want to set down your goals so that you understand that. Establish your boundaries. So you don't necessarily, like North Face, you don't necessarily have to put lots of product shots up, but you can be putting people doing those things, and they've done other things I've seen where they've put athletes up, they sponsor, and tell their story about the athletes. You don't mention the gear whatsoever. So it's how far you can go. You should be gathering information all the time. So I've got May taking photos of this from the back so we don't see your faces, so that I can use it on social media, capitalise on those kind of opportunities, and use tools that might help you. There's lots of great tools out there. We can use it as databases and gathering information, capitalise on photo and video opportunities. Create evergreen content. So that's the kind of content that can go up at any stage regardless of the time frame. And that means that if you need to get something posted, you haven't posted in a while, then you just go to your little library and pull it out and away you go. You're going to have holidays and seasonal influences, so particularly if you're, so we've got the real estate metro here, so clearly there's going to be certain times of the year where it's going to be busier than others in terms of selling their houses. So they'll be putting information up about that, hopefully. They should be putting information up about tips for how to get your house ready and for making it smell nice and bake some cookies before people come in the door, those kind of things. And the other one is answer questions that your target market's going to have. And you'll get lots of questions all the time, and you can use that as content for your social media because they all ask the same questions. And then you've got to solve it for them. And then, of course, you have to analyse your past performance. And unfortunately, what works today doesn't necessarily work tomorrow. So you have to keep experimenting and trying new things. So 41% will unfollow a brand with irrelevant information. Now the problem on Facebook, if they do this to you, that's counted as negative feedback. And if your page gets lots of negative feedback, what do you think Facebook's going to do? It's going to decrease your organic reach because it's going to deem you not a valuable user experience. So Google, YouTube, Twitter, all of them, it's all about the user experience. So you've got to think about that in terms of the content you're putting out there. So try not to sell, give valuable information. So the whole idea with social media is developing that relationship, give away value so that they can trust you as an authority, as a leader, and then come to you when the time is right. Here's some examples of branding. What I would recommend that if you are putting up imagery, brand it with your logo. So if somebody shares it, your logo goes with it. The Nestle one, that's an interesting one, so they've put up one with Choose Wellness because obviously Nestle makes lots of chocolate and our perception of chocolate and sugar is going down, so they're trying to take a different angle and help. Yeah. This example is one that we did for the Fortune Theatre. So the top, hopefully you can tell the difference, the top image is the one that they had and the bottom image is the one that we did for them. So basically with your imagery and your messaging, you've got a very small space, so don't clutter it with unnecessary information. And the problem with the Fortune is they get caught up because they've got sponsors and they've got things they want to say, and so they want to put it all on there. Don't do it. So clean it up and get the core message across. So what am I going to say about, what am I going to say about that Instagram post?
Too many words.
Yes. Too many words, and particularly on Instagram, that's the worst place to put them. Instagram is all about that visual symphony. You shouldn't be overloading it with information. The information goes here. Okay, some Facebook stats, because we know that the majority of you are on Facebook, and if you're not on Facebook, you probably should be on there. So you've got the key figure I want to draw your attention to is this one here. So 47% of users only log in from a mobile device. The value of content is 0 unless people see it and share it. And this is what's happening now on all of the social media platforms. So Facebook is the leading one in this game, and it's the most strict in terms of cutting out your organic reach. And by organic reach, I mean you haven't paid for it. So now with Facebook, you have to allocate, there's no if, buts or whys, you have to allocate a budget towards a paid placement on Facebook if you want your messages to be seen. So important messages, pay. And then there's a whole nother seminar on how to pay. The other thing that you've got to keep in mind is engagement. You've got to keep your target market engaged with you. You want them to interact with you. But you can see it's quite hard. So even here when I ask questions, it's very hard. Kiwis are not that great at doing it. So you really have to cajole them and get them there. So how are we going to do it? Photos get more likes, they get more comments, they get more click-throughs. Short and sweet. So posts, and Facebook you can post as much as you want. Twitter is now 280 characters. Instagram is kind of unlimited, but don't use all that space up. Keep it short and sweet. We don't read. So this research says that posts less than 80 characters get more engagement. Questions. Post on a regular basis. I did get the question, how much should we be posting? In another seminar I did. And in the end, it depends, which is a great answer. It depends on your business, it depends on your audience, but more importantly, it's actually about what you post and not how often you post. Because if you post a whole lot of content that people don't like, you're going to get that negative feedback. Either they're going to unfollow your page, which is really bad, or they're going to hide your posts. And then you're going to get these negative brand points against your page, and it's going to affect all of your posts after that. I'm going to highlight native Facebook videos. So what do I mean by that? If you upload a video to YouTube and then you share it to Facebook, is YouTube owned by Facebook? So do you think Facebook's going to like driving its traffic off to YouTube? No. So basically, it doesn't give you very good organic reach. So if you have a video, upload it first to Facebook, and if you have a YouTube channel, later upload it to YouTube, so that you let it have some organic reach first in Facebook. Okay, and we've talked about social media images. This is the other reason that you've got to have images, is because we process images 60,000 times faster than we do text. And we've all heard the saying, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, it's totally true. And also, text is processed in the short-term memory, but visuals are in the long-term memory, so you're much more likely to recall the imagery. Hence why I try to do a mixture of imagery with my presentation, so that it aids your learning, as well as a good sleep tonight to help the neurons fire. Just learned that in a brain seminar. Okay, so video. I mentioned this earlier. So video. That is the biggest trend in social media. So if you're not doing video, I want you to do video. It doesn't have to be super duper amazing. I did a session with a lady who does horse trekking. She simply gets out her phone, has a bit of a chat. Oh, I'm at the Wanaka show, la la la. 450 views. It's not spectacular. That's really good numbers for her to get the view, but her video's not spectacular. People are much more forgiving because they know you're doing it on your phone and they know that it's you doing it. And it looks real and it looks authentic, and that's what social media is about. You can do some really nice videos too, but don't be afraid to do normal live videos. So there's two things. So one, video. They will get reach of photos. I'll come to Facebook Live in a minute. This is just showing you two. This is the real estate you get if you do a Facebook video. This is the real estate you get if you upload direct, if you embed from YouTube. So that's another reason why you want to do it direct. Okay, so Facebook Live. Who's gone live? No, surely you're going to go live, aren't you? Have to. You'll be into it because I've seen your Facebook page. You're getting good engagement. Get some Facebook Live out there. So Facebook Live basically means on your cell phone, you go live. You shoot a video live, so people can tune in as it's happening. And then after it, if you decide, you can either post it to the page or you can delete it so people can watch it later or not. Now, because Facebook, or Mark, is all about video, he wants to go into ads in the video. They're running out of real estate space, so it's like how else can we do it? Well, we can put ads in the middle of video. So that's why you're getting more organic reach with video and then Facebook Live, because that's one of their new babies. So they're going to benefit you if you use it. So try. And we often go to social media because we want to be entertained and educated. So it's now edutainment. So think about that in terms of what you're putting out there. Here's some user-generated content. So Hershey's put up that awful, ugly-looking photo. That's a recipe for some kind of brownie. And they're not saying buy Hershey's chocolate. They're just saying, oh, look, there's this wonderful recipe. One of our delightful customers. It got 7,900 likes, 121 comments, and 909 shares. So it's not a stunning photo, but it's a real photo. This one here is just to give you an example of, livening it up with, because everybody knows, you look at that, you don't need to read anything, you know that it's about Halloween. So it's something to catch the attention and stop the thumb. Stop the thumb from scrolling. You could also use some quotes. Marketing without data is like driving with your eyes closed. I really like that one, because the whole point with social media and your digital presence is you must measure what goes on. If you don't look at what goes on, how do you know what's working? And then we did a testimonial for a bike site. Ask questions. Admittedly, don't ask open-ended questions. Ask yes/no questions, true, false, multi-choice. Make it easy for your end user. If they do happen to ask a question, make sure you respond, or even if they say something, try to respond with a question so that you get more engagement. Because if you post something on Facebook, and this is happening with the other Twitter, Instagram, they're all doing it now, if you get that engagement, and if you get that response happening in that conversation, then they will spread your message further without you having to pay. I hope you all change your cover image regularly and maximise that. Watch out. Would anybody go to that cafe? Did anybody know it was a cafe? But I guess I'm betting that within a split second you know whether or not you would go to that cafe. So be careful with the imagery or the imagery that you let your staff put up. Try to be emotional. Get that emotional connection. So this was the time when the Football World Cup was over in Brazil. We've got this, I don't need to say it, look, 4 more years. That's all you need to say, and we know exactly what's going on. It's the emotion, it's that connection, and it was the most retweeted tweet for that year. There's our emotional connection here, remembering the greatest wildlife warrior, 1,300 shares, retweets, and 3.2 likes. This one here, this is to show you, this is a dentist. A nice picture, and it's happy birthday to a wonderful dental nurse and what she's doing, and that's very nice. And that got some nice engagement on that page, because really, who wants to go to a dentist? Nobody. It was really interesting when I was researching for another seminar, I looked at Fisher Price. So Fisher Price got amazing toys and really fabulous engagement, lots of people commenting. They then put one up about they had a crying baby or something and said something about having to go to the dentist. Well, it bombed. Nobody liked that post. So maybe don't mention dentists and stuff on your page. Get creative if you can. So you all know what you're looking at? Alright, the Musée de la Guerre. So this is the museum, the First World War Museum in Paris. So what they did was they created a story. So what they did was they said that Leon was a teacher originally, and he had to go to war, and he was writing letters back to his fiancée. So they focused on telling this personal story. So it was treated as if it was 1914, and that Leon was updating it himself, discussing his thoughts and sharing the images with the world. The Facebook page attracted 50,000 fans in 2 weeks, 7,500 shares, 6,500 comments. And the best of all, the Museum of the Great War saw a 45% increase in museum visitors. So you've got to think, what is your story? This was the the top Facebook content for 2017 was this how-to video, basically, some organisational hacks. Try to make sure that you've got some calls to action in your visual imagery as well as your text. Whoops, that's not it. That one there, I put that in because I've got a florist here. Over there somewhere. So with the florist, the idea here is you don't necessarily post lots of floristy type shots. You can post edible flowers and go a slight tangent. I think there's a roofer here somewhere. The roof has dropped off. Roofing doesn't sound... I didn't mean to do that, hun. Roofing, a bit boring really, isn't it? However, this roofing company in Dunedin is doing this major project, and they've got some visual imagery from above. And that looks interesting. And they've also had a drone footage. So there are some exciting things you can do if you just think about it a different way. This one here, look at the terrible, he's smiling nicely, but it's a pretty crap photo. But it got really good, for their page, it got really good engagement. And it was, and they congratulated him because he's passed all his exams, and it's so exciting. People loved it. So just be authentic and real. But don't do these things. So don't do too many promotions, using too much slang or jargon, no personality, trying to be funny when you're not, and not replying to messages. So again, another crap photo with major electrical, hang on them. But what they did, now has anybody run a contest on Facebook to generate, you run a contest? Did you read Facebook's guidelines and policies before you ran that competition?
No. Not really.
Nobody does. But you have to watch out, because if you run a competition that violates their rules and regulations, you could lose your page if somebody complains. And this is what they violated it. So they basically said, tag a person, like the page, share, and you could win this cookbook. You have to do a lot to win a cookbook. Anyway. So basically, you can enter by asking them to like or comment on the post that you're putting up. They can post on your page, or they can send you a message to enter. But you cannot ask them to like your page in order to enter your competition. So the reason for this is Facebook says there's no point somebody liking your page as a one-off just because they want a chance to win that prize. And the other thing is too, you actually really don't want to do that because of negative feedback. So if you get a whole bunch of people liking your page to enter the competition, and then you start sending out information that comes in their newsfeed, and they're like, well, I don't want to see that, they're going to unfollow you or hide all your posts, and that's going to affect all of your next posts. So you can't ask them to share it, and you can't ask them to tag themselves in the photo. How people get around that, and you would have seen this, they'll say, we've got this lovely gift basket for Mother's Day. Put down, tag your mum and why she deserves this gift basket. So you're not saying tag them in the photo, you're saying why would this person deserve it. So that's how they get around that one. But you still cannot ask them to like their page, despite the fact that everybody does it. I wouldn't recommend it for those two reasons. One, that it violates and you can lose your page, but two, you're just going to get people who don't necessarily want to hear from you. The other thing you must do is you have to include a line that says, this has got nothing to do with Facebook, it's all us. So you need terms and conditions. Okay. Oops. There's my call to actions. So that's my call to action. Vote. And that's my call to action. Take our quiz. You're telling them what to do. You're conveying some kind of value. Click here is not a call to action that conveys value. So I have touched on this before. 80% of time spent on social is via mobile. So my whole point with that is design imagery and text that's going to work in that little side screen. Otherwise, they're just not going to look at it. Instagram, I'll just do a quick flip through Instagram. So basically, Instagram is the up and coming. If you've got something really visual, I know there's a photographer in the room, that's where you want to be. Or lots of fitness people are on there too. So it's not for everybody, and but it's one of the channels. Facebook owns it, so the algorithm's there, so it's starting to affect it. But at the moment, you're getting more engagement on Instagram than you are on Facebook. However, Instagram is an even softer sell than Facebook. And you can't link from your post the way that you do with Facebook. You have to do it from your bio. Use hashtags. So Twitter and Instagram, use your hashtags. They've got to be relevant to what you're saying. You might create your own ones that go with a particular event or hashtag mark-ins. So use it on the relevant posts, and that's a search function, so people can search your hashtags. Use your Instagram bio effectively. You must have a link, hopefully to your website. And in that case, they've actually used a URL shortener so they can measure who's clicking that link as well. In the Montreal Polytech one, they're saying to you, identify your photos with this hashtag. So they're even telling the students, this is a hashtag you'll use, and then they can keep track of what goes on. YouTube. So video. You're going to have to get a YouTube channel. Brand it, make it look pretty. It's big. LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is the professional Facebook page. It's the business orientated one. If you're on LinkedIn, try to maybe participate in some groups, make sure that you do some status updates, maybe publish some blogs if you're really keen. This is what everybody does. So Elizabeth, she is the Regional Quality Manager at Fonterra. So everybody uses that headline as a title, a job description. So what I want you to go and do is have a look at your LinkedIn and change your headline to something that talks about you and how you can help your target market. So I've changed mine, we'll change it again. So I say leveraging cohesive digital marketing strategies, web, SEO, social media, AdWords, Facebook marketing and email. So straight away, if people just see that, they know what I do. This woman here said, coaching for entrepreneurs, my clients have results. So she's putting in that little bit of incentive, that little bit of juice to make you click on her. Twitter, nobody's on it. It's really a newsy thing, wouldn't worry about that. They love images, but if you are, make sure you brand it. That's what we did. That's what we did for Emerson's before Lion bought them out. I don't think they've updated their Twitter page. I think it still looks like that, despite the fact they've all got new labels. Anyway, Google My Business. Okay, so Google Plus is the social media channel that Google set up as direct competition to Facebook. Okay, who's got a Google account? Who's got a Google account? Good. Okay, great. So most of you seem to have it. So if you don't have it, get one, because you have to claim your business. So so there's two things here. So Google My Business has YouTube, it has, what was that other thing? Google Plus. It has all those little elements underneath it. So you all recognise this. You want to do a search and this thing pops up. This is Google My Business. So you see how it says suggest an edit? Nothing. That one there says own this business, ? And that means they haven't claimed their page. So go and do a search. If Markins hasn't got one, should have. Get it, claim it, update it, use it. Because often people will see that information come up and they'll look at the phone number, they'll look at the hours, they use that information. It's free. Make sure you've got that up to date. And then you'll have access to your Google Plus page and make sure you've got, and it'll feed off images off there. Okay, so Snapchat, if you've got the really young ones, get into it. Pinterest, highly skewed towards female, so like 97%. So if you've got a big female target audience, go there. Okay, if you've got a couple of social media channels, it's all getting a bit much, or if you're on Instagram a lot, Later and Planoli are two Instagram social media tools that are great. They help you schedule, and I think Instagram has finally allowed you to schedule posts from that tool. Before you could only ever post from your phone, and you couldn't pre-do it. So with Facebook you can schedule it. Now I think Instagram's just changed. There's some other ones there that you can have a look at too in terms of helping you manage your channels. In God we trust, all others bring data. So who looks at their Facebook insights? Good. People often say to me, when should I post information online? So I say to them, go into your Facebook analytics, insights, posts, when are your fans online? And that tells me exactly when I need to post. You have to post when your fans are online, but slightly before to get the momentum going. Because if you post at 6 in the morning and they're not there, they're going to miss it. So check your insights out. If you've got a large company, hopefully you've got some kind of social media guidelines so that your staff know what they can and can't do. So what's happening? So we've got Facebook, mobile video is getting big, messenger ads. So does everybody use Facebook Messenger? So now you can put ads into Facebook Messenger and you can communicate. So it's all going to this kind of one-on-one, although now they're getting chatbots. So chatbots are going to be responding to you. So that's AI, artificial intelligence. So it's going to, they'll have a whole bunch of questions. You'll put a question in and they'll go, well, I think you want that answer. And they'll give you their chatbot answer. So you're not actually talking to a real person. So that's going. Facebook groups is another one that you might be looking at, because the impact of the algorithm hasn't hit there, so you might want to look at doing some Facebook groups. YouTube, live streaming, social TV content. Instagram's growing in terms of, well, users, but also there's new advertising features, new analytics, and you've got that higher engagement. Okay, key takeaways. So I want you to go and develop a strategy, create a likeable personality for your organisation, be prepared to branch out to other platforms. Facebook might be a mainstay, but you might have to look at some other ones too, given what they're up to. Unless you've got a budget where you can pay. Use video. It's about what you post, not how often. Be mobile friendly. You have to experiment and with different kinds of content. So, writing a bit of a blurb, or putting an image up, or putting an infographic up, doing a quote, doing testimonials, see what works, and also mix it around. And then monitor. You have to monitor what you're doing.